Any examples that you can share of outcomes that you've been able to achieve through your learning interventions?
See, as I said, our operation is huge, and I think 2,000 flights per day. Smooth operations is one of the outcomes actually needed for, learning is needed for that. And there are, a lot of roles where we have some licenses required, some regulatory, mandatory trainings required. And, you can't fly, for example, or you can't operate an aircraft or maintain an aircraft without license holders. So, this learning activity at Indigo is 365 days a year, and we call it, in fact, there are some YouTube videos that we have which says license to fly, So, licenses to fly or operate are actually also facilitated by a learning center. So smooth operations actually is very, very clear outcome for us. Number two, there are, of course, aspirations and ambitions of people on development side that we also cater to. So I think one measure for that is, or one metric for that is that we have a learning survey, and part of our engagement survey, part of our learning, I would say 60 Speak survey, where we have a specific questions on learning, whether learning is able to satisfy or help your needs as an employee of this company or as a manager of this company. So there is a continuous improvement in the scores on those questions that we definitely want to look at, and this happens for us every quarter and very exhaustive in a year. So definitely we track the learning outcomes, not only from an employee engagement but also a smooth operation point of view. And Summi would like to add, maybe I think learning is also a great partner for us on DEI metrics, for example. That's very important. So maybe you want to add on that.
Absolutely. So when we kind of have conversations about DEI, what we normally hear is how many people do we have in the system, how are we supporting them. But ifly is a very strong partner in ensuring that everybody else is aware of how we adapt to each other. It's not just a one-way street, but how we adapt to each other. So we do consider ifly a very strong enabling partner in it. So one of the other things that we'd like to talk about from the whole leadership level of Indigo is that when we celebrate learning, we just don't celebrate a particular segment for learning. We celebrate every single person as somebody teaching something or the other. So a very, very important example that we just saw was that when it was Teachers' Day, normally in all the organizations, it's the learning team who gets to hear congratulatory messages. But in our organizations, it's every single person who's a teacher to somebody or the other. Even when you join absolutely brand new to our organization, the thought is that there is so much that we can learn from somebody who's probably never worked in a job, has never worked in a corporate, or probably never just worked in an airline also, has so much for all of us to learn as well. And I think that we feel is the biggest outcome, that how can we be continuously learning as an organization to further ahead.
Oh, fantastic. And it almost sounds like without learning, your planes don't fly, right? So without the learning function operating at efficiency, your planes don't fly efficient. Thank you. There's a lot of talk about learner engagement, right? There's a lot of talk about technology and learning. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've maintained learner engagement and how you're using technology maybe to bring some of this to life?
I think she can talk about in detail, but I just want to start with saying that, technology has become a very big change agent for us, for in every field. So we have started technology classes, in fact, or technology programs, and that change has started from the top. So every leader has gone through, I would say, increase in, like we have EQ, IQ, we call it DQ, digital quotient. So every leader has gone through digital quotient trainings. And we have a tie-up with one of the renowned institutes. And the professors come here, teach us on, how the technology landscape is changing, what are the various technologies in use, some use cases around it, some case studies around it. So definitely, one is technology itself, as a subject for us has become very, very important. So we're just not leaving it for this change to happen through our IT or digital function, but each one of us are getting trained and getting ready on imbibing and embedding technology in our domains. And of course, on usage of technology, Summi, you may want to add. Yeah.
So interestingly, we call this session as the Indigo session, which is how does Indigo become technologically stronger? And when we talk about technology, it's not just the softwares that we bring in or the new technology that we bring in, but the adaptation that the whole organization does is very, very important. Doubling in by 2030, we're very, very clear that digitally it has to take us ahead quite a lot. So there's lots that's happening in terms of Indigo. Adaptation to technology. For example, we all know that AI is here to stay. So I think we are concentrating a lot on the fact that nobody gets scared of AI, but how can it be used to its best advantage for us as leaders, as learners, so that every time I have to, and Sukhjit gave a very good example of we all have to be licensed because we are in a very, very strong regulatory framework. So instead of going to the aircraft every time, how do I use technology to feel as if I'm inside the aircraft to understand and learn so much more? All of these things are being taken care of by the digital quotient that we're bringing in.
Perfect. Thank you.